an event that all 4 Norman Rotary Clubs get together to work on, choosing a project, a local project that aligns with Rotary's core values. The purpose of today's session is to introduce you to the 2 finalists who have been selected, and we will hear about their projects and then have time for Q&A. Over the next hour, we'll hear one presentation from the first finalist, do Q&A with them, then move to the second presentation and do Q&A with them. So that we can give them about 30 minutes apiece, we'll go ahead and get started. Right before everyone joined the call, we flipped a coin to see who gets to go first. And Randy Gardner with Rose Rock Habitat for Humanity will be our first presenter. How's it going, Randy?
It's good. So excited to be here. Appreciate you guys letting me come do this. I wish you could have chose a less formidable peer to do this with, but Stacy's a great person, so I expect it to be a good showdown. But let me go ahead and get started. I will share my screen. Okay. Can everybody see my screen okay with the slides? Okay. So again, thank you for having me here. What I'd like to do real quick is I'm going to do a quick rundown of Habitat as a overall program and kind of what we're doing and the impact we're having in the community. And then I will talk about our specific project that we are working on that helps support that project. So start off, of course, it's important for everybody to know what our mission statement is, and that's putting God's love into action by bringing people together to build homes, community, and hope, and more specifically, build affordable homes. And we know that's an issue that we have here in Norman, across the county, and across the state in the U.S. So for those who don't know what affordable housing is defined as paying more than 30% of one's income. You can clearly see right here where we stack up nationwide, and more than 1/3 of our population exceed the 30% cost to income ratio. And what you can see from the Oklahoma Policy Institute is it shows that 2 out of 5 Oklahomans who work full time cannot afford a stable home. So why is that important to our communities? Well, the stats are this: it impacts the economy, increased wages and productivity. Somebody that lives in a home, we know that they affect the GDP and it grows faster. So that's good for all of us. They're more likely to be civically engaged, which means they'll vote and participate in local governments at every level. There are better health outcomes because excessive home costs hinder preventive care. And so by seeing the doctors and living communities where the doctors are at, they have better health scores. It's also linked to emotional behavioral health issues in children. We know it increases the education outcomes, higher scores and attain higher education. While there's many paths to success, we know also that more kids in homes actually go to college and seek higher education. And it's the most cost-effective strategy for reducing childhood poverty. A sobering fact is that children on average earn 31% more as adults when they come from a home. So that's the data side, and that's all good and well, but why is it important to our families? We asked, what does home equal to you? And safety, peace, stability, family, all those things were key issues that our families addressed, our clients addressed as things. There was a lot more to go into those, but those are really the top ones. You guys hear that video? Okay.
No.
All right. I'm going to bypass it. This is a problem that we had with this program, and I knew that was going to be a problem. So sorry you don't get to see that, but that actually was one of our homeowners, and she just talks about how important it is for her to have our services. Without that, she could not have found her way forward into a home and increasing the likelihood of success for her family. But what's Rose Rock Habitat's role in all this? So our vision is ensuring that everyone has a decent place to live. And here you just see a few of these that we've done in the last couple of years. We've got a couple ribbon cuttings where we moved families in. The one in the bottom center is actually a double ribbon cutting that was 2 houses side by side, so 2 families at the same time. One in the top middle is actually the title company. She's signing off and getting that home. Other things that we do is we build wheelchair ramps. Keller Williams on this particular day had their red day, and what you see them is they're holding up the last toe board of the wheelchair ramp they all signed off on, and then we we cover it, and then that goes at the bottom of the ramp. So they got inspirational messages there that the person knows. And we firmly believe that a house is not a home unless you could access it. So that's something else that we do. So where the housing costs lie, and Sarah, I'll say I stole this number from you from your slides, but the median sales price right now that we're looking at is about 268.5. The average sale price is about 300,000. Our current sale price is between 160 and 180. Next month, we're going to close on 2 houses, and both of those families will move into their houses for $180,000. That's what they're going to go to their mortgage. They'll bypass all the extras that go along with that. So they won't have real estate. They'll bypass a lot of the closing fees. And so that's important to know. I'm happy to share that, what we typically do is we try to find a place between where it costs us to build, what it appraises for, and then what that family can afford. One of the houses, actually, we just got our appraisal back on it, and their opinion of value was $255,000, and that person's going to get that house for 180, which is where they can find the sweet spot and what they can afford. So our impact, I talked about all the things that we do. And last year, we did 169 home repairs, 3 community revitalization projects, and this is where we go to the communities. We do cleanup. We typically do this ahead of our ability to go in there and be good neighbors. And so we build relationships with the neighbors. We help do minor things that they themselves can't do, and perhaps they can't afford to do it. It also sets the stage for our future homeowners to go in there with neighbors who've received some of our services, so they're a little more welcoming to those families. We talked about the ramps, family support referrals. We work with a lot of other nonprofits around town. And what they can do is they can send referral letters, and we can help. Like if someone gets to a situation where they need furniture and stuff like that, there's opportunities for them to use our services and get discounted furniture. And a lot of times we'll provide dishes and silverware and stuff like that for those families, especially if they find themselves in a situation where they have to find a new place to live because of circumstances beyond their power. We do perform homeowner workshops. We've did 4,395 financial education units. That's through 4 in-person classes. We have an online program and 22 program completion certificates that those people completed that. We had almost 11,000 community volunteer hours, and for the community, that's a savings of about almost $350,000. Job readiness programs. We have 9 high school students that we train through various programs. Community service volunteers, a lot of people who have court appointed hours they have to fulfill can come volunteer with us, and they fill those hours. And sometimes those people really work out to be great people, and they need jobs. And so in 4 cases last year, we actually hired 4 of those individuals to come work for us. So how are we able to make this kind of impact? Well, the number one way we do this is we fund it through our Restore, and that's what brings me here today. An Innovation Restore and Client Solutions Center will allow us to build more homes because of the sales in there, sell more affordable home goods, expand our nonprofit partner program, offer financial literacy in a classroom setting. Right now, we have to go outside of that, better equip our future homeowners, provide customized family support services, and then better meet the demands of our customers. As I was mentioned a little while ago, we actually have a house we're closing on next month. This is that house at 221 West Mosier. I welcome any of you guys to drive by there and actually see it, but this is just an example of a home that one of our families is going to get. So our current status is that the building that we're in right now is an old building, and our lease expires May 31st of 2020. That should be 24, excuse me, 25. Alternative or extended lease is unresolved at this point with our landlord. They do have it listed online, and they're wanting a 250% hike over what we're paying right now. There's a 69-year-old building which we're in, which is in poor condition, insufficient power, location is problematic, and as being leasing, we have no equity in this property, even though we've been in it for almost 10 years. Parking is a challenge, floor space is a challenge, and then here's a whole list of the building improvements that are greatly needed by this building that we simply can't put in there through our programs. There's no training space, no classrooms in this facility, so staff, volunteers, and clients, we usually have to find training usually conflicts with the space that we do have, so we have to actually find space outside of this, and so we have a heavy reliance on outside venues and their availability when we need them. Excuse me. We also have inadequate onboarding and offloading of options. If you've ever been to our store in the back, we have a ramp that goes up and a 90-degree turn into an area that's ill-equipped to bring in large items. weather impediment. We have to go through. My folks have to go through the weather to get unload stuff. The box truck, we try not to ruin stuff when it comes out of the box truck because if it's rainy, snowy, cold, whatever. And then the tractor trailer dock that we do have does not work with today's standards. So it's basically cannot work and is subject to flooding. So what are we doing about it? Well, we have purchased land, and it's on the east side. If you guys know where Steel Gym or Walmart is on the east side, we have some land over there. So we've been proactive in moving forward with this. We've actually got architectural drawings. They have been completed. We've got permits that have been issued. Plating has been completed, and the bonds have been completed and issued to the city to approve those things that have to be done after we complete our construction, like sidewalks. Then our next step is in material purchase and fabrication, and that's kind of where we're at right now, and that's where this help would be greatly appreciated. So the opportunities, if we have a new restore, we get better layout and aesthetics. This would meet the demands of our store customers for increased product selection, more robust inventory, and better shopping experience. It would also be much more energy efficient. There is a growing demand to be increasingly more energy efficient across the nation. More inefficient means more dollars directed to our building homes because we don't have to pay them out in the form of utility costs. And then we actually have already worked with a company locally that provides the opportunity to do solar as part of our design plan, and it's already been incorporated into our design. And then we have a consolidated warehouse where we can merge our storage facility with our new restore building. Right now, we have to go across town to store stuff. It's a time-saving issue for us because obviously fuel, labor, and manpower to trek across town to move stuff back and forth is not conducive to efficiency. Also, we would add the classroom, homework classes, volunteer orientation classes, staff training, project classes, financial literacy training, and the list goes on, as well as being partners again with other agencies that could schedule and use those facilities as well. So my question to you, are you ready to help us build a store and a client solution center? I hope the answer will be yes, and we invite you to join us on this exciting journey. And our view is to make the dream become a reality. And as you can see here, this is a rendering of that new Restore and Client Solution Center that would be at 901 Sonoma Park Drive. And so I hope you guys would consider joining us on that, making that a reality, and letting us move forward with our program so we can continue to build more and more homes that are so sorely needed in our community. So that's my presentation. Any questions?
Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat yet. So if anyone on the call would like to jump in with a question and get it started.
Yeah, Randy, this is Don Harrison. What is the total cost of your project and how will that be funded?
So the total cost of the project all in is $5 million. We have broken it up into 3 phases. The first phase, I need about $2 million to complete that. And that will get us the restore and some storage space that we sorely need. We do have a building over on industrial that we use right now. That's the alternative place I was talking about where we store some stuff, and my construction team works out of there. And so that would be that opportunity. But if we talk about the restore, a full-size warehouse, and the entire client solution center, we're talking about $5 million. Once this is all up and completed, we'd also be able to sell off our industrial location, which right now is valued at about $900 to $1 million. And so that would be another way that we would fund this. We've already put close to $500,000 into this with the work that we've already done. But then with where we're at right now, it just kind of slowed down for us a little bit, especially I lost several development people all at one time. So that's where we're at. I mean, that's a long answer, but that's the answer to the question. So.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it looks like there is a question in the chat. Maybe there are 2 questions, but they're kind of the same question. So what other sources of funding or financing do you have for this project?
Well, we are certainly a traditional capital campaign. We are out seeking investors, donors to move into this. Certainly, what we're doing right now, besides building homes, is we are investing in ourselves. So some of the money that we get through grants, fundraising, through the restore is also helping that. And then the other financing. The least desirable, obviously, is construction loans, and so going to the bank and stuff like that. We are working with some other organizations, especially REI is one that we're trying to work with, that have really low interest rate opportunities for us as well. Obviously, the desire is the more we can get paid for, the less burden on us. Things like the solar, though, are actually being covered by a side arm organization of the solar initiative, where investors come in and they own the solar arrays and we just get the benefit of those. And then we also have other investors coming in, and large manufacturers. So, example, we've already got somebody that's going to donate the floors for us, somebody that's going to donate the HVAC for us. And so those large systems are going to be covered by other organizations. And so those would be our in-kind donations that would put us closer to that value. I mean, you could imagine HVAC system for this is probably going to be $300,000 or $400,000 in value. That would cut down to that $5 million I mentioned earlier. So.
Okay, you probably maybe answered that in that last section there, but what financing has been secured to date? So you have the in-kind donations are already secured.
We have some are secured, some still in talks. We don't have anything with the banks right now. We're working with them. Their large desire was for us to have a feasibility study. We did conduct a feasibility study. We have that on hand now, and we're waiting until the new year to re-engage with the banks and try to secure any additional financing that we need.
Great.
So, and I'd be happy to share that feasibility study with anybody that wants to see it as well. So.
Awesome. I have a question. Assuming everything goes according to plan, which I know never happens with construction, what would be your ideal targeted opening date for the center or for the phase one?
Well, the original one was obviously by our out of this building date, which was May 31st of next year, but that's not going to happen because of some issues. But the reality is we're probably looking about a year from that, and so we will either continue to work with our current landlord to stay in this building, find an alternative 1 year sort of bridge building, if you will, or in a worst case scenario, we'd have to move over to industrial, which is the least desirable, but we are heavily working on options right now. So.
Okay. So you're thinking about like a kind of a midsummer 2026 timeline?
Probably. I mean, the thing is, the plans are ready to go. The company that won the contract is ready to go. They've already selected the person that's going to produce and fabricate the steel for the building. Several contractors' bids have already been output and received, and so once I give them the green light, they can start moving pretty fast. I would tell you that if I were to start tomorrow, we could get pretty close to being done on time. It would probably be late summer. We could be done with that building. But I would probably have to get close to at least $1 million in commitments before I could do that and fully move forward. So that's why I'm thinking it's going to be later in the year before I can probably move much further forward with that. So.
Okay, so in the chat, we have a question. How much has been raised to date from grants and other sources?
We've gotten, like I said, we've already spent about just shy of $500,000. We've still got I think about $40,000 set aside for this right now. And then that doesn't even count some of our in-kind grants, which we haven't fully valued, like the flooring. We haven't valued that just yet. The HVAC, because we haven't settled on the system yet. There may be a little bit hiccup with that. That was a process through Johnson Controls. As you guys know, Johnson Controls just got sold. So we'll see how that goes. That, you always get the wrench, right? I get the big giant wrench from the biggest place in town. So.
Okay. I don't think I'm seeing any other questions in the chat. Is there anyone else on the call that has a question?
Yeah, I'm going to butt in and ask one, Sarah. It may be,
not
a little more of a two-part question. Hey, Randy.
Hey.
We've talked quite a bit outside of this context about this project. And I think what we've talked about is consistent with what you've said today, it being about a $5 million project. And I think you don't have any illusions that Tour de Vin is going to raise $5 million or even
Not
$1
at all.
million over the next 2 years.
No.
My first question is kind of what's your forecast with or without this money of the likelihood that you'll be able to get together the money or the resources to reach this $5 million project goal? That's one. And what's your fallback plan to do with the money you raise if you don't get enough raised to do this particular project?
Well, to answer your part one is I wouldn't be in the position I'm in if I didn't think that we're going to fully succeed and I'll get the money that we need to do that. And so I quickly replaced my team. I'm getting them up to speed as far as my development team goes. And we're starting to make headway into reestablishing our path forward with that fundraising effort. Uh, I'm under no illusions that I'm going to raise that money fast. There will be some construction financing that has to go into this. This is a long play, so the commitments from donors over a multi-year span will be incredibly important to us, and so we'll have to go out and secure the large. Kickstarter investors, if you will, and then make everybody realize that even small investments will matter significantly. So I fully believe that we will succeed. I have no doubt that I will get us and my team to where we need to be at, and my team will do a fantastic job. Um, I forgot your second. What was your second part of your question? I'm sorry.
The second question is if you don't get there,
Oh, yeah.
or at least close enough to do this project in substantially the form you're proposing it, what's your fallback plan? I think you mentioned, a plan B could be industrial park or something like that, but I want to
Yeah.
know, obviously, if you get this award, you're going to get your Latour Devin money, it sounds like, before you get the $5 million and before you get this project done. It's not one of those deals where we're closing the last bit of a gap for you and you're finishing out the project as we finish
Right.
out. What's going to be your fallback plan for if you don't reach this $5 million goal? I mean, other incremental projects, other options for a scaled back version of the project, things like that.
Yeah. So, well, again, part of what we're doing, we would continue to operate. So I mentioned we have our industrial location that we have that my construction partner would be able to stay over there. We would continue to be able to store some product over there. And then what we would have to do is kind of like what we're doing now. We just have to find an alternative location that we could sign up with a lease with somebody. And so that might be a 1 year or 2 year lease. Depending on where we're at and where the scope of that project is as to how long that would be and stuff like that. I've already looked at a couple places and we're in talks with some people at going forward. One example is the furniture store actually that's right next to that piece of property has just filed bankruptcy. And so we know that building's going to be opening up here in about a month. And so that would be like an ideal location because if I got in that building, I'd be building my backyard essentially. And so that would be one of those types of things. We would certainly engage somebody in the real estate development side of things that could help us locate a piece of property if we're unsuccessful in that. And so I know there are vacant buildings out there. They may not be ideal, they may not be the size we want, but certainly I know there's opportunities to do exactly what we're doing right now, which is to find a piece of property owned by somebody that's willing to lease to us in a given amount of time based on our timeline as it's progressing. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, and kind of the follow-up there, and then I'll let you go because we need to all watch our time, is uh, the expectation would be you would go with one of these lesser options if you didn't get there and still use the money you have raised to be able to do that.
Yeah, the building is not our plan to build this is not going away. That is purely a bridge to get us from point A to point B, is what that would exist in. This money would still go towards that project. We would right now we pay the lease payment out of what we do with the restore. So besides funding our programs, we take a portion of that money that comes from the restore, basically pays for itself. We would do that. and still be able to find a facility and then still be able to fundraise on the side as if we're almost a separate organization. If we're able to start building, then all that means is that money that I would have been putting towards the lease now gets to go directly into that building. So I guess what I'm saying is there's a cost to that building. If I do a construction loan, there's a cost to that loan payback. And if I can get that low enough, then my payback and my lease payment could essentially be the same thing. So it's not costing me anything more than it's costing me today to be paying back my construction loan. The only difference is now I immediately start building equity into that building versus paying into somebody else's pocket.
I think that last part tells me where you're going with this. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, if there's no more final questions, then I will say thank you very much to Randy. We're so happy to hear your presentation. You're welcome to stay on or exit, whatever you'd like to do. And then next, we will move on to Stacy with Bridges.
Thank you. Let me share my screen real fast. Okay, you guys, thanks for being here. And Randy, I enjoyed your presentation. You guys, they've been so good to us as our organization with some furniture and some help from time to time, and have most recently employed one of our students as well. So super happy to be a part of this with Restore and Rose Rock Habitat. So thank you guys. My name is Stacy Bruce. I'm the executive director here at Bridges. Our mission is empowering high school students in family crisis to pursue education without obstacles. And what that means is that we house and serve homeless high school students, unaccompanied minors, right here in our community who are trying to finish high school. Just a quick history of us. We started in the middle of the 1990s because there was a state law that said you had to have a parent or guardian present to enroll in high school. So if you didn't have a parent or guardian there with you to sign your enrollment paperwork, maybe it wasn't safe, they were incarcerated, deceased, whatever it was, you were not able to enroll. So these counselors at Norman High School saw this growing population of high school students having to drop out because of this, and they ended up forming what was called the Mayor's Task Force. Bill Nations was the mayor at the time, and the committee had Kay Absher on it, Karen Canavan, Linda Price, some counselors from Norman High School. Ultimately, they got the law changed so that students could continue to go to school. The task force then became a nonprofit. It was originally named Independent Living Services for Youth, or ILSY, ILSY. After a few years of ILSI, somebody decided that it sounded too institutional, and they went through a name change, and we're now called Bridges. So that is how we got to where we are. I like to break our program down into like 4 pieces. I feel like we do a whole lot more than that, but these 4 can kind of carry all the things that we do. The very first thing that we do when a student applies to our program, it's important for you to know that every one of our students lives with us due to no fault of their own. On my first day of work here about 8 years ago, a student said, "We think people think we're bad kids." And what he was saying was that he thinks that you think that he did something wrong and was sentenced to Bridges, brought here by a judge or a police officer or something. And all of our students live here due to no fault of their own. So some of the reasons that we see are incarcerated parents, deceased parents, mental health issues in the home, drug or alcohol addiction in the home. We see physical, sexual, mental abuse. We see family homelessness. We've seen what we call parentification, which is where the minor in the home is the financial, has all the financial responsibilities in the home instead of paying attention to school. So those are just some of the reasons why students live with us. And when they become a part of our program, the very first thing that we do is provide safe and supportive housing for them to make sure that they have the ability to focus on high school. I tell people all the time, if you don't know where you're going to sleep at night, if you don't know if your electricity is going to be on, if you don't know where you're going to eat, or that there's going to be food, then you're not worried about your math test or your English paper. The second thing that we do is make sure that our students are able to get their high school education. It's right there embedded in our mission. So we check grades and attendance every single day. We have people apply to our program. If they're not interested in getting their high school education, then we are not the program for them. We will provide additional resources and help them, get connected with somebody else that can help them. But to be a part of our program, you have to be committed to getting your education. Another thing that we do is help our students gain employment. All of our students have to have a verifiable source of income. And if they have a verifiable source of income, such as like survivor's benefits or TANF or anything like that, we still encourage them to get a job. We think they need the experience of doing that. And so we will help them with, creating their resume. This is all kind of goes into number 4 too, life skills. We have an entire employment series on life skills, how to write a resume, how to interview for a job, how to dress for an interview. We go through mock interviews for a couple of weeks, and many of you have come in and done those mock interviews for us. Now that I've gotten hired, what do I do? New hire paperwork, how to read a paycheck, how to be a good employee, and how to quit a job are all life skills. So we give them these things. This last week, we just did etiquette. So right before Thanksgiving, our students would know which drink is theirs, which bread is theirs. They know how to start conversation at a table. They know where to put their napkin if they have to get up from a table. And then we also do car maintenance and things like that. Most of our students don't have any transportation, but we hope they do one day. And I'd like for them to know how to change a tire or check their oil. So that's just a quick overview of our programs. If you'll notice right here on the outside of our student center, we proudly display the Rotary symbol here. I believe it was in about 2005 that the Rotary Clubs came together and built our student center for Bridges. It is just the communal space. Think of an apartment complex. Think of like their clubhouse. You can also think of in your own home, the center of your home. Everybody maybe has a bedroom in your home, but when you all hang out together, you probably do that in your living room, kitchen, and shared space. That is our student center for us. It also offices our staff. It's where we have board meetings. It's where mentors meet with students. It's where tutors meet with students. It has our storm shelter. It has our pantry. It has our laundry room. It has all the things. And so that is the place where we all get together and network. So here is just a quick little, let's walk through our building, right? And I'll jump ahead verbally just to tell you that the ask, if you have not seen it, the ask is to renovate this building. It's almost 20 years old. It's got a lot of wear and tear on it, some damage, but its bones are still pretty good. But we really want to provide a place that our students can be proud of, that really works with where we are today in our program and in our world. But here's where you walk into our building. The doors are fine. We need these heavy doors for security. We like that there's not really any windows to look in because we still want to provide a private space for our young students when they're hanging out. The next place, this is right when you walk in, this is our student center. This is just the open area. In this area, the floors are damaged. We have the fluorescent lights with the ballast that cost a lot when those go out. It's kind of dim lighting, and our furniture obviously is cold and hard and not comfortable. And it's just wide open. It needs a little bit more purpose. This is what we call our living room space. This is one large area if you've never seen it. Again, lighting, flooring are concerns. And you'll see some doors where you see offices and you see storage units. The next picture here is just a different angle. This is our kitchen. And in 2022, we had a realtor group come in and they repainted the cabinets. They were tan, they're now gray, and they were able to put granite in. We had the Formica, I believe, before that. And so it got a little facelift. We would like to see additional seating. You can see we have 2 residential refrigerators. We'd like to have, you know, a commercial size refrigerator for all of our food that we store and try to keep here for our students. Windows, furnishings, all the things would make that just a better spot. This is our clothing closet. This was also a part of that kitchen kind of painting where they just painted the cabinets. We hang stuff, we put shoes in there, and we were trying to create kind of a dressing room type of feeling here for our students. This black desk thing here is a makeshift kind of portable reception area. We would like to create more of a receptionist area when somebody walks into our student center. This was a closet. This was a storage closet. You can kind of tell by the floor. We needed space. When I got here 8 years ago, this was already converted into an office. One person officed in here. We now have 3 people officing in this old storage closet. We did have some storm damage years ago when we had the hard freeze. We had some pipes burst, and in the process of getting all of that fixed, I actually had workers on property at the time, and we were able to pull just a tad bit of money out of reserves. If you look right over here, we were able to put a window in to this spot. Before that, it was just even darker, and I mean, it was a closet. That's what it was meant for. So this is our garage area. We don't have enough space the way that we're laid out right now. So this is overflow. This is stuff that just our community is really, really good to us, you guys. And so we don't ever want to turn anything away because we use all of this stuff. But we have to find places to put it up until, you know, the what I'm going to show you, the pantry area is cleaned out and we continue to restock our shelves. This is another office. It's not a large office, but this office is our work room. So it has our cutting board, our shredder, our copy machine, our office manager office is in there. You can see our water sources in there. When we had a property manager, he also officed in there. And so it's just, it's a multi-use space, and it needs attention as well. This is our pantry. So this back area here is hygiene. This area, you can see over here, our canned goods. We would like to totally redo the pantry area. And then this is the adjacent closet, the one that became an office. This is the other side of it. And you went from 2 large-ish storage facilities to losing one. Everything gets shoved in here. We also have a hot water heater in there. And so it needs attention as well. Our laundry room looks pretty good. Thankful to Sooner Rotary. They came in not long ago, a few years ago, and no, Norman Rotary, Sooner Rotary came in here and they repainted. They built this cabinet for us. And we didn't have like a flat space before for people to fold or do anything like that. The Chenoweths recently, over the last year or so, donated 2 new washers to us. What we would like to do is increase this area and actually maybe do stackables. We have 2 washers and 2 dryers for 20 students on our property. We've had to go to these signs up here, show you each building has a day that they're allowed to do laundry, because otherwise they get too backed up. 2's not enough. It's better than none, but it's not enough. So we would like to provide more for them. So we met with a group out of OU, an architectural design group, classroom. And we kind of talked about our mission. We talked about what our vision, what we would like to see. And we ended up really liking this one group that came up with the turtle in the sea. And the words that kind of came out of their presentation to us were comfort, growth, strength, and freedom. And the reason that we liked this is that for comfort, a turtle embodies comfort and safety within its own shell, offering a secure, protective home, and it carries it wherever it goes. The sea, the waves provide a sense of comfort, offer a calming presence that reflects the balance and flow of life. Growth, a turtle symbolizes growth as it moves slowly but steadily. Progress takes time. We tell our students that all the time. Growth, the sea also embodies growth as life within its waters constantly evolves and adapts. Strength, the turtle's longevity and resilience also reflect inner strength and enduring life's challenges. And then freedom, as you can see, the sea represents freedom, its vastness, limitless, all the possibilities and the pursuit of dreams. So we kind of took all of these ideas, these words and the colors from turtles, the colors from the sea, and we came up with some designs I'm going to show you here in just a second. But the reason why we want to do this, our why, are all of these words. We want to provide security, safety, healing, warmth, comfort, balance, all of the things that are in this word cloud, because our students are who we're here for. And the primary age range for our students is 14 to 19 years old. They can stay till they're 21. But this stage that they're in is called differentiating. And in differentiating, they have a strong need to be recognized, to be seen, and they want to belong to a group. And because of that, we want to make sure that we're able to provide the space for that here on our property, and that everything about our space is reducing stress, is calming, is comforting, and provides all the areas that they need to be comfortable in their home, because this is their home. I also want to create this space, this renovated space for our staff. I recognize, and most of you all know too, and those really are our staff, aren't they so cute? I know you guys know that many nonprofit staff sacrifice higher wage jobs to work in nonprofits. We're often working off of donated desks, reused things, and we make do with all that we have. I'd like to show them that they're valuable. I would like to provide them with space they deal with a lot of heavy stuff. We deal with a lot of heavy stuff with our students, and to have spaces that are more comfortable, that are calming, that, like I said, reduce stress, that the furniture is comfortable as well, would be nice to be able to offer all of that to our staff too. So here are the designs that the images, the concepts that this group came up with that we really liked. Remember, here we have this turtle. When you would walk in our door over here on this left side right here, this would be the little reception area. We're looking for some maybe flexible furniture here. I believe I saw Liz McCowan on the call, but her husband and I have had lots of conversation about this type of furniture. And he told me one time that his mom told him that I think she was speaking about women, or just maybe anybody in general, should be able to move the furniture around in a space so that it can be out, it can be put up, and it can be used however you need to. So right now we have some things that we can't move at all, and then the other things are pretty heavy. And so we have board meetings in here. I'd like to have nice furniture and board meeting style, classroom style, but then also move it for bigger events. Our living room space, and then maybe providing over here on the side some private study, like cubbies, maybe charging stations. And you can see our offices. It's still the space that we already have. We're just kind of repurposing some of it. Here you can see a little bit of what the reception area could look like. This furniture that I was talking about here that's a little bit lighter. You're still seeing the colors throughout, the turtle colors, the sea. Down here on the left-hand side, this seating would be off of the kitchen. It looks over a window out our back door, but still a place that somebody could sit and eat. Our kitchen renovation, just a little bit larger refrigerator over there. And then this side would be your eating. And then our pantry, maybe going floor to ceiling with our storage, with the sliding ladder where people could get the stuff off of the top as well, but that looks a little bit nicer than the different pieces we have. And then our office spaces. We believe that there's a way to break a couple of the offices into two, but still making them usable, functionable, and with the wall color, the ceilings, the vinyl flooring, and some carpet, and then the furniture. Down here on the right, you see the stackables and how we could kind of rearrange our laundry room some. So that was the concept. So then some people want to know, does really renovating this make that big of a difference? And it does. It's more than an upgrade. It just shows our students their worth and their potential, and that we see them, like we said, in that differentiating group. It's a welcoming, functional environment to give them something to be proud of, a place they truly call their own, because this is their home. So I don't have to go through it all again, but just making sure they feel seen and respected, a sense of pride so that they know that they're deserving, a sense of ownership. They'll help maintain it, keep it clean. It is their home, home being the key word there. They'd host their friends and guests. Our mentors would come in here, tutors would come in here. The calming colors and the design would be a place that they would want to come to relax, to socialize, to study. The communal space would feel like a second home. It is their home. Their apartments are about 400 square feet. So if they want to hang out with much more than 1 or 2 people, they would need to do it outside of their home. And then their self-esteem and empowerment. Again, the key word here being home, a sense of community, a place to hang out with friends in their home. Our goals would be to provide them a sense of belonging, to reduce stress, to have a place for peer support. Role modeling, our staff and our mentors obviously use the space. This is where we could reinforce positive behaviors. Tutoring and academic support. Our life skills classes go on in our student center as well. So this would be where they would learn once a week. We have, excuse me, our life skills. Additional goals are building confidence, a place where they feel seen, valued, and supportive. Foster independence and teaching them how to navigate through different environments, and then strengthening lifelong habits in this area. So how does it fit? So I was looking here at our missions, and Rotary's mission is to provide service to others, promote integrity, and advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through our fellowship of business, professional, and community leaders. Bridge's mission, obviously I told you earlier, is empowering high school students in family crisis to pursue education without obstacles. So if you look at the 2 missions, Bridges has, it's about stability, resources, guidance, overcoming challenges, achieving success. Rotary's is service to others, promoting integrity, advancing goodwill, and positive change. Together, what I think that we both are doing is fostering opportunities, uplifting others, uplifting people. We all have a power of support, compassion, and we're trying to build stronger communities. So I think that's how we fit very well together. As a Rotary member myself, I know we always do the 4-way test. So is it the truth? Yes, it's the truth. Bridges students are extraordinary, you guys. They're teens who will thrive in this renovated communal space. Is it fair to all concerned? Yes, it is. It's fair to all Bridges students. All of our former students continue to have access to our student center. Our staff is in here. Our board and committee members meet in here. Community volunteers are in here. I've got OU students in here right now. Will it build goodwill and better fortune? Better friendships. The renovated student center will foster goodwill and strengthen friendships by creating and inviting a space where students can connect, collaborate, and share experiences, inspiring pride and belonging, encouraging meaningful relationships and mutual support as they finish high school. And then will it be beneficial to all concerned? The renovated student center will be thoughtfully designed. We'll create an inclusive space where all of our students feel welcome, valued, and supportive. We will take their input too throughout some of this process. By providing equal access to resources, activities, and opportunities, the space ensures fairness and promotes a sense of belonging for everyone. So here's just a few of just what we're dealing with so that you can see what happens in a 20-year-old building. This is our tile floor. This is this is somebody's office floor in the bottom left. You can see what's happening. We fixed this leak in the ceiling, but it still looks like that. And then our bathrooms obviously could use an upgrade too. So just a little bit of the ugly truth behind the scenes is what I called it. So I will open it up to Q&A.
Perfect. I was just going to interrupt you, so I didn't have to do that. That's wonderful. It looks like I got the first question in the chat. Stacy, is the current laundry room gas electric or electric only?
It is electric only.
Okay. And then let's see, does anyone want to hop in with a question? Oh, one more. Okay, oh, go ahead, Joan.
Yeah, Stacy, what is the total budget for the project and what is your timeline?
So I love that question. So it would be like, have you guys watched Love It or List It on TV, you know, where they
Oh, yeah.
basically we would give our board has agreed to give a percentage of prom fundraiser, and we have a donor that normally gives restricted dollars of $10,000 that we can put towards this project. So if we were to get your money of, let's say, 100,000 plus a percentage of prom plus that 10,000 from the Thomas Russell Foundation, that would be our budget. We would literally go to contractors and say, this is what we want to do. Can you bid it out? And we would try to pick somebody that would be within our budget. And we know that there might be some things we couldn't do, but our goal would be to spend all the money and get as much done as possible.
Okay. And the timeline, you have a target finish date?
Yeah, so I'm terrible at construction, but as soon as the money, so as soon as we were awarded the funds, our phase one, I think we would take about 1 to 2 months to go out to bid, select a contractor, get the permits and approvals and do all of those things. Then for the next 3 to 6 months, hopefully be in construction phase. And then, you know, anywhere from month 7 to 9 would be post-construction, grand opening, final inspections, you know, a ribbon cutting of a renovated space and all that. So we would,
Okay.
I don't know with construction really how, you know, I know things happen, but we believe we could get it done within probably a 9-month period, hopefully.
Okay, thanks.
Stacey, I have a question.
Yeah.
When the construction happens, will your students have an alternative spot to hang out?
Yeah, so we would have to think about what that looks like for us. And so we have I've visited with a friend who is in construction, and there's been maybe some talk about we'd have to talk to get permitted for this, I believe, but could we provide some sort of temporary structure, maybe in our parking lot in the meantime, or if we were able to free up, say, one apartment, could that be a place? It's still not very big. So I think we would, unless we could go in, I don't think we could go in zones. I think we're going to have to shut it all down and get it done as quickly as possible and look at a temporary structure.
Okay, and that would hold true for your staff too. They would have to be moved into a temporary structure.
So, and when Bridges first started and they got these apartments, staff actually officed in an apartment because this student center wasn't built for a minute while they were still meeting with students and stuff. So we have space at Norman High. We have available space at Norman North as well. And so staff could go meet with students in those 2 places if necessary. But yeah, we need a place to show up to work every day.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I got 2 questions in the chat. So the first question says, how would your project be impacted if you are awarded the grant, but the actual Tour de Vin payment is less than the $1,000 over a 2-year period?
So the question again was, what if it was less than?
Yeah, so I mean, our Tour de Vin's goal is to raise $50,000 a year for the beneficiary. If we didn't hit that, what would be the impact to the project?
You know, so we would have to pull potential dollars from operating because like what we're talking about doing, right, is getting it done before a 2-year period. And so if that second year of funding, or if it didn't, say you didn't meet it for 50 both years, and our budget was that, we have done a decent job financially. So we have been able to, we are now debt free. We paid off our mortgage, so that's nice to be debt free. So we're able to put additional dollars into reserves. So we would potentially have to pull some money from reserves to finish any projects that were not completed.
Okay, thank you. And then the next question in the chat says, if you are not awarded this grant, what is your plan to complete the project?
Yeah, so if we're not awarded the grant, then we'll have to continue to write this grant to other people probably, that we wouldn't be able to do it until we got grant funding.
Okay, let's see here. Okay.
Yeah, I see that question. Did the Rotary Clubs do the original Student Center through La Tour de Vin? I believe so. It's all the documents that I can find calls it a collaborative effort between the Rotaries, right? When I went to La Tour de Vin's website, it looks like American Red Cross was kind of during these years, and there's no mention of Bridges being a recipient at that time, but I know that the Rotaries built this building.
Yeah, I think if my history is correct, it's a little bit before my time in Rotary as a member. But if my memory serves me correct, it was kind of that first project. It was not La Tour de Vin, but I think it was that first project that at the time, it was 3 Rotary clubs came together and collaborated. So that was kind of, I believe, our first multi-club collaboration, but it wasn't under the La Tour de Vin umbrella, is my understanding.
Yeah, and this Bridges is free and clear of any debt from this building because of Rotary building it. And so I did reach out to Deborah Crittenbrink before she was here for before me for 10 years, and she said, so I came on in 2016. So if she was here for 10 years, she would have been 2006. And she said the student center had just been built before her. And so the information that I'm seeing is 2005, and it does say collaborative effort with the Rotaries.
Mhm.
Awesome, thank you. Let's see. I don't see any other. Let me see. That's a Q&A. Oh, yes, there's just a chat. And Liz in the chat just said that is true. Judy was a very wise woman. She was. Absolutely. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Anyone else want to hop in? All right. Well, thank you so much, Stacy. Both excellent presentations, both excellent projects. As a reminder, this recording is going to be shared with everyone who could not make it today. And then each club over the next week or so will have the chance to review it. And then in their meetings the following week, we'll be voting. I assume in their meetings, every club will be doing it on their own, and then they'll be submitting the information to the La Tour de Vin board. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or your club's reps for more information. Since gosh, you guys are good. 1:59. We're done. Thank you all. You'll hear from us soon. And if you have any further questions, reach out. Everyone have a great day. And Jamie, thanks for driving the Zoom.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stacy and Randy.